Hello, Parker Live. I'm Donica Bryant, the Relationship Liaison at Parker Staffing. For those that haven't joined us before, the purpose is to put a little goodness into the world. We're hoping that you leave feeling recharged and maybe even learn something new. Today is our mom panel with my lovely colleagues, so please feel free to ask questions in the chat. So let's start with introducing yourself and the ages of your kids. We can start, Katy.
Hi, I'm Katy Riley, and I am the SVP of Finance and Admin at Parker, and I have one 13-year-old boy.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Lundberg. I am Senior Vice President of Business Development here at Parker, and I have the young kids. I have a 1-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl.
Hi, my name is Zee White. I am a associate here at Parker Staffing, and I have one 12-year-old boy. He's just turned 12.
Yeah. So how has it been working from home and balancing life? For example, when quarantine first started, how did you balance school requirements with your day-to-day?
So my situation might be a little bit different than Lindsay and Katy's because my son actually is out of state, and the whole plan was for him to come here. But since we've been quarantined and just to be on the safe side, he stayed in Texas with my family. And so balancing life and work has been really different because I'm like, while I'm at work, I have teachers emailing me or, oh, hey, well, let's do a parent teacher Zoom conference with all the teachers on Fridays, which I started to appreciate because it just kept you updated on, you know, if your kid was lacking anywhere that you didn't realize. But I feel like I was pretty lucky because my mom's a teacher. And so she's been a teacher for almost 30 years. So it helped a lot.
So I have found that managing a 13-year-old at home, I mean, it was kind of crack out of the box. They had a very full schedule. And so we had to sort of figure out technology to, I mean, he has Zoom calls and Teams calls. And so, you know, when you're home and you're working a full-time job and you're trying to, like, you know, be available, but then you're making sure a new teenager is kind of on target. Like he literally has a schedule every day, and that was weird. I mean, everybody was kind of lenient in the beginning, but now, you know, we're getting ready to finish up the school year, and I mean, he really has a schedule, and so that's it's tiring, actually. Like, it's a lot to make sure that you feel like you're trying to make sure you get all your stuff done in the same time frame that they're getting their stuff done, and then keep them on a schedule. And so in the beginning, it was like, okay, what are we doing? And now it's like you get to a point where you're like, we need to have a schedule. You know, we need to have, like, you need to get up, you need to do this. You're gonna have a schedule. Like, I have a schedule so that we can somehow make this all work.
Well, my kids are really little, so it wasn't necessarily Zoom calls or a schedule in terms of what they were learning, but, you know, they're in daycare, both of them, and their days were very packed. So I think our biggest learning curve was while we are both working, making sure that we had activities to keep them very, very busy, but also keep their brains functioning and make them tired at the end of the day, and you know, kind of try to find a way to keep the routine going. So a little bit easier with the 1-year-old who's on a set nap schedule than a 3-year-old who wants to do everything in 1 hour. So it's been interesting.
What's been the most challenging part?
Keeping them on, like, being on a schedule that you feel is good for them, like that you can sort of feel like you're doing what's best for them, and that you're you know, figuring out whatever that looks like, because you want to, you know, keep them happy, keep them fed, keep them exercised, you know, you're trying to, you know, all the things. You're so grateful for what teachers and daycare providers do, and you know it's a lot. Like, I have no illusions like how valuable teachers and daycare providers are. And so, you know, you're trying to keep some semblance of of normalcy and feeling good about it without just devolving into do whatever you want. You can play games, you can eat whatever you want. Because sometimes when you're working, you're like, I can't deal with that right now. I have to go do this. And then you feel bad. Like feel bad. Sometimes I feel bad.
I'm pretty sure that there was a time about 4 weeks ago that I called Katy and said, Katy, I've bought the new Trolls 2 movie 5 times. You know, and it's, I think that's just the balance of when you have full days and, you know, you have a full family home, it's figuring out how to make it all work and making sure that the kids feel like they're getting the attention that they need. Also by making sure that for me, my clients and the internal employees at Parker get the attention that they need. And, you know, it's not uncommon. Everyone knows, you know, for the kids to come in and say, Mom, I need something, you know. And I think that we've all probably dealt with that. You know, kids very much like to have things on their schedule. And when you're scheduled during the week for work, it's definitely been a balancing act.
Yeah, I can kind of piggyback off what Katy and Lindsay said. Definitely wanting to get my kid on the schedule, because when quarantine first came, he was up all night playing video games, you know, and talking to his friends on the Xbox and PlayStation. And then, you know, morning time, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm calling like, I know you're not still in bed and it's 12 o'clock. And so like me and my mom were like, you're on a strict schedule. Like games started getting cut off just like it was, you know, during school, you know, when it was regular at 8 o'clock, you need to be in bed by 9 because you need to be up with Nana when she starts working as well. So by the time she gets done, y'all can both go to bed.
Oh, that's real. Because Gideon would say, well, we don't have school. I'm like, we're out of school. I'm like, oh, no. You're not out of school. You have an actual school day and we have classes. And it was just that was a big adjustment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about yourself during this quarantine?
I think I have a little bit more patience than what even though he's not here, FaceTime is real. Okay. And I think, you know, when it like doing homework before, it was different because it was like 1 or 2 assignments of homework a week versus you're at the computer for like 2-3 hours a day and you're doing all of your classes, you know, in one day. And I don't know about Katy, I don't know about your son's school, but my son's school, it should be a private school. Like they loaded them up with homework. And so
kids complained about it too. They felt like it's harder. They feel like it's harder being home than it is when they're, you know, dealing with it hour to hour at school each day.
Yeah. And so I feel like I definitely found out that I was more patient because when he started getting frustrated, I know he had one assignment where he had to build a robot and it was via computer and nothing worked on the program. And he got so frustrated, he like broke down crying. He was like, I'm gonna fail. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Aiden, you really need to take a woozah. Let's take about a 30-minute break away from the computer. No game, no phone. Like, just go zen, just go chill. You know, but patience is all you know.
I wish I could say that. I think I might learn that I don't think that's new. I think I knew I was impatient, and this just confirmed that I'm not patient. And so my child is a real introvert, and that's one of the things I've learned. I mean, I knew that, but he's really laid back, and so he's kind of the opposite. Like I'd rather have your situation because I realized that he just was like, oh, I wasn't on that video call. And I would be in a meeting and I'm like, okay, how was your call? So I feel like I had to be more of a disciplinarian, and that puts me in a place that I don't love to be. And that made me more sort of anxious and impatient. So I've had to work on that. Like my default is to that kind of, you know, you start worrying about them and think they're not doing the right thing. And that made me a little more high test. So I've had to watch myself, you know, try to be more patient. I mean, definitely like that's the right thing to do. I don't always do it, I guess.
Hey, it's okay.
Right. And I'm all for trolls. I'm all for renting trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime we need to.
I think patience is part of it, but it's funny because I thought I was so busy before, with commuting and dropping kids off and working all day. And I thought I was one of the busiest people that I had known. I mean, truly. And then you're all under one roof and you're juggling even more. And I realized I really didn't, I had it quite good before, and that when you're all of a sudden in this environment, you just kind of make do. And so you have to take a minute for yourself. Sometimes easier said than done, but just make sure that you take a deep breath, because there's some days that are amazing and some days that are really hard. And I think it's just taking it all with stride. When this all first happened, we were spending so much time together as a family and we were going on walks every day. And it's like, this is the greatest thing ever, because I was still getting a full work day in. And then, as we've gotten busier, both my husband and I over the last several weeks, and our kids have gotten a little bit sick of being inside, it's become definitely a lot more challenging. And so it's just taking each day as it comes, because every day is different. For example, last night, my daughter didn't want to go to bed until midnight and she was up at 4:45. It's like, really? Come on. So,
Yeah.
You never know what any day is going to bring you.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot, trying to be grateful and trying to give grace to yourself and others. Those are not just words. I mean, it's like you try to really practice that, because there is something within each day that you are, just like you said, you have some great, it's not even good days and bad days. It's good hours and bad hours, I mean, it gets smaller than that. And just
100%.
Yeah. And just trying to be patient with yourself and each other. And it is hard to be together all the time. I mean, I imagine how they feel. I mean, it's like they get sick of us just like we get tired, we get tired and they just are like, wow, it's just every day, one day at a time.
Oh, yes.
Well, you guys pull it off well. What have you learned about your kids? Katy, you touched on it a little bit, but
I said, my little introvert loves it.
Well, I will tell you that I've learned that my daughter is a lot more like me than I even knew. I've just been astonished by watching her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's stuff that I say, or that she's mimicking me. And it's been pretty kind of unbelievable to watch. I also thought my little guy was more of the introvert and that he was kind of quiet by nature. And I think it's just because he was so tired after coming home from daycare every day, because he's got a huge personality. And for me, it's been really fun to see that come out, but also to see them play together, because, they're at these ages where he's no longer a little baby. And so they're starting to play together, and it's really, really fun. And if I wasn't at home, I might not see that. So there's a lot of really beautiful and positive things that have come out of this time. And I think watching them grow is a big piece of it.
I think for me, I can definitely piggyback off of you, Lindsay. My mom would always say, Aiden is just like you. And I'm like, Mom, it used to get on my nerves so bad. I'm like, Mom, please stop comparing me to my child. Come on now. And he is just like me. Especially when it came to school, I was an apple polisher. I'm not gonna lie. He made a 90 on a test and he was like, I'm going back because I have to make 100. I was like, oh, okay. Well, make your 100 then,
You did something right then, girl.
I'm like, okay, I'll take that. But he's definitely more like me. And he's me.
Mine is my own person. Oh, mine. He is his own person. And I knew that. I mean, he's 13. So it just reinforced. And he's at a stage where he wants more independence, which is totally age appropriate. And so this is a tough time to be, when you really are get tired of somebody, 13-year-olds are already tired of you. So, yeah, I think that some of that is just like Lindsay said, you still get to see them more develop at the age. I mean, you don't get to spend that much time with them normally. And so you do see all day long kind of the ins and the outs. And you do, I mean, it is surprising that even no matter what their age, they're still going through some portion of a new phase of development. And that is a cool thing. Even if it's tough sometimes, it's cool to just witness it.
Yeah, I can agree.
So what advice would you give to parents during these strange times?
Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah,
I think every parent is just surviving right now. I mean, everyone's just figuring out their own road, and I don't know if, it depends on the age that your kids are at. It depends on how the day is going. I think I would just say that I'm with you. I'm with you, and I feel you, and I'm going through it with you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, don't beat yourself up. If I know like some of the math problems, I can't remember sixth grade math. And they have changed the ways that they do the problems. And I had to literally, we broke it down to where my mom was doing science, I was doing social studies and language arts, and my brother and my dad were doing math. We broke it down. Everybody has an assignment. Make sure if he has, any trouble, that's your task. And so if my dad was at work, he would FaceTime my little brother.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it took a village. So don't beat yourself up. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. No. It's 2020. And if you haven't been in school in 20 years, stuff has changed.
You made a good point there, which no matter what the area, if you can be creative about asking for help, ask for help. Figuring out what your village is, if you have one, even if it's just one extra person, or if it's, in families, right? We're all being really sensitive about COVID and not risking anything unnecessarily. But if there are, I think I'm super grateful that I have a handful of family members where even if sometimes you just need a break and they need a break. And so figuring out what that looks like, or some of the stuff I've done too, which has turned out to be, it's funny, but it made me feel good, was sometimes we'll just go for a drive. You don't get out of the car, but you go, if you can do that, going for a walk or going for a drive and just looking at a different scenery on a nice day. We've had some nice weather. I mean, today's not so nice, but, just being creative, listening to music in the car and taking a drive felt like a change of scenery. And so sometimes it's these really little things where it's okay, we need to do something, but, within the reality of kind of something that's safe. But, asking for help and sort of thinking out of the box for sometimes little things, my friends have shared those kinds of ideas and just talk about it, I mean, there's so many people and we're all in the same boat. So many people are dealing with this. So, we all come up with great ideas, I think, when we're talking to each other. We certainly help each other out.
We've had lots of family dance parties.
Oh.
You got to record them.
Yeah, the FaceTime is a beautiful thing. If just any kind of the capability to video your family is huge. I mean, just talk to somebody, see them, be able. I mean, even if you can't visit, that's been awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
Wonderful advice. Let's, in a sense, end on a fun note. What's the funniest or strangest thing your kids have done during quarantine?
My son did organize his own Zoom birthday party.
Oh, that's neat.
That's impressive.
He did. And I thought I was being slick and going behind his back because I ordered a birthday cake and he wanted a seafood, and I ordered all this stuff and I had it delivered to my mom and my dad's house. And so I was like, oh, he was hyped because I got him some Jordans that he really wanted, and just went all out because it was his first birthday away from me and in quarantine. So I went all out, probably spent too much money, but it's okay. So my mom was like, girl, I think he's on Zoom with somebody. And I was like, who? And so she was like, hey, who are you talking to? He was like, I'm talking to my friends for my birthday.
I love that.
I kid you not. And she was like, why you didn't tell nobody? Why didn't you invite your family?
This is my friend party. This is my 12-year-old friend party.
He was like, it's just my friends from Xbox and from school. I was like, oh, okay. And I thought I was being slick by doing all that. And I even tried to do a Zoom birthday, but my brothers were like, I'm going to be at work. And I felt bad, but he did it on his own.
That is awesome. Mine did not do anything creative, I would say. Mine became really good at ping pong. That was, his dad got a ping pong table, like a professional ping pong table. And that surprised me that he absolutely, but ping pong's kind of addictive like that once you start. And so he really, that was probably the most interesting, that he was really into it and really got good at it. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, that's good. It was good. It's actually pretty good exercise because then you can't go to the gym. And so that was a concern. But yeah, other than that, he would play video games 24 hours a day. Yeah, there's nothing new. Nothing new. I have to combat that.
We pretty much control our days and behavior by shows. You know, I think every 3 or 4-year-old loves their shows. So it's funny, not funny, but I'll tell you, about 2 weeks ago, my daughter was having a morning and I was on back-to-back calls all morning, and she was on her probably 5th princess dress change of the day. And I finally got her to calm down, and we were having lunch, and I was like, wow, she's so calm. This is amazing. And I was like, what's this? It was just really quite weird that she all of a sudden just calmed down. And then she simply at the table, she had a sandwich in one hand, and at the table went to go grab for a toy, guided where her body was going, fell over and broke her collarbone. So broken collarbone in quarantine. I wish it was like, everyone's like, what's the story? And I wish it was like maybe when she was jumping off the couch with her princess dress to see it twirl. But she literally, with the sandwich in her hand, just moved the wrong direction. And so it was funny, not funny. We're laughing about it now, 2 weeks later.
She's gonna, when she gets older, you have to tell her that story.
Yeah.
And in front of friends so you can embarrass her.
Well, it's so funny because everyone's like, Reagan, what happened? What happened? She's like, let me tell you the truth. And everyone's expecting like this huge story of like, I tripped over a toy or I fell off my chair eating a sandwich.
There you go. Break it down for us. That's the truth.
You go, girl.
Game over. Mic drop.
Right?
Well, that's all the questions I had. I want to thank you so much, Zee, Katy, and Lindsay, for your time and your advice and for sharing. And it was wonderful seeing and chatting with you. I haven't seen you in forever, so it kind of feels like the lunch chatter that we used to have.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Got to stick with your ladies. Hang in there.
All right, take care.
You.
Bye.
Bye.